In this lesson, we'll be reviewing equations and inequalities, meeting the requirements for TEKS 610A. In our first problem, Asia, Tom, Ashley, and Jaden must determine values that are true for this inequality. X divided by 8 is greater than 3. The table below shows their responses. Write true if the student correctly determined a value for X, and false if they did not. So it looks like the first thing we need to do is solve this inequality. The do-undo chart is the first thing we should take a look at. What is currently being done with our variable? Well, the X is over 8. And we know a fraction is a division problem. It's being divided by 8. So the undo would be to multiply by 8. So that's what we'll need to do to both sides of our inequality. Multiply by 8. 8 over 1 is the number 8 written as a fraction. I can use that to help me more easily multiply the fraction of x over 8. 8 times x is 8x. 1 times 8 is 8. Is greater than 3 times 8, which is 24. I know that 8 divided by 8 is 1, leaving me with 1x. X all by itself is greater than 24. So if I drew a number line, 24, x is greater than 24. So an open circle at 24, because 24 is not included, it's not greater than or equal, it's just simply greater than. And then I graph or shade on my number line all the values that are greater than 24. So now let's take a look at their chart. Asia said x could be 30. Well, that's true because 30 is greater than 24. Tom said x could be 22. 22 is not greater than 24, so that's false. Ashley said x could be 24. But a moment ago we just said we're graphing with an open circle because 24 is not included. It must be greater than 24. So Ashley's answer is also false. Jaden says x could be 32. Well, that's true because 32 is greater than 24. Both Asia and Jaden chose answers that could be true. Both 30 and 32 are greater than 24, while Tom and Ashley chose answers that are false. Neither 22 nor 24 are greater than 24. In our next problem, Macy solves the inequality as shown below. X divided by negative 12 is greater than 7.8. It looks like that Macy then multiplied both sides of the inequality by negative 12, and then finally came out with a solution that suggests x is greater than negative 93.6. Macy's teacher checks her work and notices a mistake in her answer. What is Macy's mistake? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Let's draw our do-undo T-chart. Well, what did we say was currently being done to the variable x? It's being divided by negative 12. So the undo will be the inverse operation. Multiply by negative 12. All right, let's take a look at what she did. X divided by negative 12 is greater than 7.8. Got it. The do was divide by negative 12, so our undo is multiply by negative 12. Well, she multiplied the left side by negative 12, and she multiplied the right side by negative 12. So that looks pretty good. Oh, let's take a look right here. She multiplied both sides of the inequality by negative 12. And we know the rule states that if you multiply or divide by a negative integer, you must flip the sign. Did she flip? No, she sure didn't. She took the 7.8 times negative 12 and got negative 93.6. That looks pretty good. But she did not flip from greater than to less than. She kept it at greater than. She should have flipped the sign when she multiplied by a negative integer. Let's look at our answer choices. A, Macy should add 12 to both sides. Well, that's not true. We know the undo was multiply by negative 12. Macy incorrectly multiplied 7.8 times negative 12. I don't think so, but let's even take a look. 7.8 times 12. 2 times 8 is 16, 7 2s is 14, plus 1 is 15, placeholder, 1 8, 1 7, 6, 13, 9, one number to the right of the decimal, so one number to the right of the decimal, 93.6. The 7.8 was positive, the 12 was negative, so since our factors had different signs, our solution is negative 93.6. Nope, she correctly multiplied, so that's not it. Macy's teacher could not read her work clearly, and her answer is actually correct. Well, that's not true either, because her work can be read pretty clearly. Finally, Macy did not change the direction of the inequality symbol after multiplying both sides of the inequality by a negative number. We know that that is the answer. She did everything correct except remembering to flip the sign. In this problem, they want to know which best represents the solution for the inequality shown below. Well, once again, let's do a do-undo t-chart. What's happening to our inequality right now? I see negative 5y. What is that negative 5 doing to the y? And if you said multiply because negative 5 is a coefficient, you would be right. It is currently being multiplied by negative 5. So we need the inverse operation, which is divide by negative 5. We're going to undo what is going on in this inequality by dividing both sides of the inequality by negative 5. Divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. 100 divided by 5. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 20 is greater, what are we dividing by? We're dividing by a negative integer. What has to happen to our sign? The inequality symbol must flip. So instead of greater than, it becomes less than. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, which leaves me with just y, 1y. 20 is less than y. Well, let's take a look at our answer choices. 95 is greater than y. No. In fact, the only way you get 95 is if you subtract 5 from 100. And we're not subtracting, we're dividing. 20 is greater than y. That would be for the person who forgot to flip the sign. So that's not correct. 95 is less than y. Once again, you only get 95 if you're subtracting, and we were dividing. 20 is less than y. That looks exactly like what we came up with. 20 is less than y. The area of the rectangle shown is 375 square centimeters. 375 square centimeters. That's the area, everything inside of this rectangle. Okay, what is h? The height of the rectangle in centimeters. So we know that the area of a rectangle is A equals BH, or the area is equal to the base times the height. We know the area is 375 square centimeters. So that's going to be equal to the base, which is 25, times the height, which we don't know right now. We have an equation. 375 equals 25h. So to solve like any other equation, we're going to draw up a do-undo t-chart. What's happening to the variable in our equation right now? Well, it's being multiplied by 25. So the inverse operation to isolate our variable is to divide by 25. We will divide both sides of our equation by 25. We know that 25 divided by 25 is 1, leaving us with 1h, or h, all by itself. So to find the value of the height, we need to divide 375 by 25. 25 doesn't go into 3, it does go into 37 once. Bring down our 5. 25 goes into 125 5 times. And so h is equal to 15, or 15 equals h. 15 centimeters is answer choice C. In our next problem, we're asked to find the measure of line segment YZ. YZ. What is the length of this line segment? If the perimeter of the triangle is 45.9 inches, the perimeter. Do you remember what perimeter is? If you remembered that perimeter is the entire outside of our triangle, we're going to add all 3 sides. So we know we have 20.4 right here, 20.4. We know that YZ is an unknown. We don't know the length of that side. So we're going to call that, well, we'll call it YZ. Why not? Okay, YZ. Plus this side right here, XY. They didn't tell us the length, but do you remember how we could figure that out? Look down here at these angles. See this angle here at angle Y? It's 80 degrees, and it's directly across from this side. 80 degrees at angle Y is directly across from 20.4. Now look at the angle at angle Z. Exactly the same measure. It is directly across from side XY. If these two angles have the same measure, then the sides opposite them have the same measure as well. So if we've got 20.4 right here, then we must also have 20.4 right here. So 20.4 plus YZ plus 20.4 is going to equal 45.9, the entire perimeter. All of the sides must be equal to the entire perimeter. Now, we can begin to combine like terms. In other words, I have this length right here, 20.4, and I have this one right here, 20.4. I can combine them and make 40.8 plus YZ equals 45.9. Now I have an equation I need to solve. So I draw a do-undo. Do-undo. My do right now is adding. We're adding 40.8 to our variable right here, YZ. Add 40.8. So we need to do the inverse. Subtract 40.8. So if I subtract 40.8 from both sides of my equation, 40.8 minus 40.8 becomes 0. So I'm left with YZ equals 45.9 minus 40.8. 9 minus 8 is 1. This is my decimal. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 4 is 0. We're done. YZ equals 5.1. So now I have my measure, 5.1. I need to go back and make sure I correctly put it into the grid. The 5 goes in the ones place before the decimal. The 1 goes in the tenths place immediately following the decimal. 5.1. And then I shade the bubbles so that I can get credit for my correct answer. In our last problem, Holly bought a streaming music subscription for a year. She paid $81. Holly wanted to find the price, P, of the subscription each month. She created the model shown to help find this price. So she took the total cost, $81, and she drew it here. Then she drew what looks like 12 P's. Why 12? Well, the $81 was for a year. She wanted to find the price for each month, and there are 12 months in a year. So we know that 12 P's, right? 12 P's would be equal to $81, right? Each monthly cost put together would total the entire year's cost. 12P equals 81. So here we go with our do undo. What's happening to P? It's being multiplied by 12. So what are we going to do for the undo? We're going to do the inverse, or divide by 12. We divide by 12, both sides of our equation. 12 divided by 12 is 1, which leaves us with 1P, or just P. 81 divided by 12 is how we're going to find our solution. 81 divided by 12. 12 goes into 81 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. 81 minus 72 is 9. Add a decimal and a 0. 12 goes into 90 7 times. 7 times 12 is 84. We add another 0. We keep adding zeros so long as we have a remainder. 12 goes into 60 5 times, which goes exactly 5 times. And so we no longer have a remainder, so we have a solution. 6.75, or in this case, since it's money, the price of the subscription each month was $6.75, which is answer choice B.